I started out with probably 30 apples and I chopped them all up to tiny pieces and I put them here in the crock pot and I cooked them overnight. And the only thing that I added was a little bit of cinnamon, probably like half a teaspoon of cinnamon and some squirts of honey, and then just a little drizzle of lemon juice for the acidity. And I'm going to can them. So what I'm going to do is, I don't have exactly the right canning stuff, but you just have to make sure that your jars don't touch the bottom of the pan. So I put a couple of the rings of the canning rings in the bottom of this just saucepan. And I'm going to measure, and I'm going to add water to right about 3/4 of the jar. And then we're going to get it to a little bit of a boil. We're going to start canning, and I have 2 sizes of jar here. But first, we need to strain the apples. So the reason I have to strain my apples is because, there's the camera, is because I did not peel them first, which you can make your life easier. Otherwise, I just threw them all in the crock pot, and now I'm just going to press them through the strainer to get the peeling out. Not too bad. And as you can see, the peels are in here, and I'm going to scrape them out and throw them away, and I'm going to continue this, so it should take a few minutes.
Peelings in there or not. So, and this is kind of crazy because you have to
Hi, baby.
kind of hang on
You
to
see
it.
yourself.
Oh, we have the supervisor.
Yeah, she sees
The
herself.
supervisor. So,
Who is that?
she's been sleeping with me most of the last little couple hours here, and now she had a bottle and changed. And
So after we strain all of the apples and get it all in the bowl, and then we're going to put it in the jars, and then we're going to try to can a couple, but we might only end up with like 2 jars of apple butter sauce, something, maybe
I think
3.
1 jar.
I'm going to say 2, so we'll see. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Okay, so we pressed all the apples through the strainer and got all of the pulp and deliciousness. And this is how much we got, and this was about 30 small apples. They weren't that big. They were probably about this big, just the little apples from the neighbor's tree. And now we're going to see how much fits into the jars. We have I have this regular standard size, which is, I think, like a 500 ml jar. It goes up to 300 on the side, but then there's space on the top. And then I have a couple of these smaller ones. So we're going to see how much we can fit in the jars. And you always have to leave a space at the top for air to leak out if you're going to can them. So you don't put the lids on really tight. And you have to make sure that they are not, when you boil them, that they're not touching the bottom of the pan. So like I said, I put these rings of the lids inside the pan so that the jars are not going to touch the bottom of the pan, so they won't break. So I filled up the water in the pan so that it's about right here on this jar, and I'll have to adjust it for the bigger jar. And make sure that all your canning jars and lids and everything are clean and sterilized before you add to them.
If you use the funnel, it'd be easier. You know, one of those plastic.
Yeah, I have some in there, but you want to leave a gap at the top, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch, so that the air can escape as it's canning. And I just have the standard lid and sealing ring. And we won't put it on too tight. Okay, so here's our first jar. We'll get the water going. This is the next biggest size jar, and I was saying this is up to a 300 mil, and so I'm assuming this is probably a 500. I'm not sure, I gotta look it up. And yes, I know I could use a funnel. We're on jar number 3. Well, we got almost 3 jars. Well, 2, 1 small jar, and 1 3/4 of a big jar. Okay, now I'm just waiting for the water to boil. Where's the camera? There it is. Waiting for the water to boil so we can get these in there. So out of 30, it was at least 30 or 35 apples, we got 1 small and 1 3/4 large mason jars, canning jars. And then we're just gonna wait a few minutes until the top depresses. Mom says you can hear it, so we'll see. It's the first time I'm doing this. So sometimes unexpected things happen. I placed the second jar in the boiling water and I heard a little bit of a pop, but I didn't see anything, and then I went to lift the jar up and the whole bottom of the jar is broken and all the applesauce is in the water and I lost it all. And now I have broken glass in my water. So now I have to start over and clean this up, and now I only have 1 3/4 jar, and I hope it doesn't happen again. And now I have bubbling applesauce with glass in it. Delicious. So obviously I've never done this before, and I have a first time canning blender. So I looked it up and called my aunt actually, and found out that obviously you can't put glass in boiling hot water, and I knew that, I just didn't think about it. So that's what happened to the jar number 2, is that I took out the first jar and then I took the second jar and put it right in the boiling water, and the bottom broke out. So just so you all know, don't do that. So now I have the last jar boiling right now, and I started from cool water and bring it to a boil, and then letting it boil until the top depresses, and then I'm just going to take it out and set them on the counter and let them cool. And I looked it up on Google, and the recommendation is to let them cool overnight on the counter, and then you can store them. I'll probably put mine in the refrigerator anyway. So jar number 3 is in, but actually only jar number 2 now since I lost one, and we'll see how it goes. But that's how you live and learn, is by trying it and doing it. So it's my first time canning. Okay, I just took out that second jar and it looks good. The top is depressed, and so it looks like it worked. So this was a success and failure at the same time, and it's just something new that I'm learning. Do you have any tips or tricks for canning? I would love to know, so please leave it in the comments and help me out, guys, because I would like to do some more canning and actually make it easier, and I would love your tips. Thanks. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.